Thank you for your brilliant questions. Excess of anything is bad. There should have uh, a ratio between root biomass and shoot biomass. Okay, and it is generally said that the root biomass is equal to shoot biomass. The plant might be much more larger, but the root weight should also be as equal as the shoot biomass. What's problem if the root biomass is greater than the shoot biomass? You see, the plant will uptake more amount of water because of excessive root branches. On the other hand, the plant will the root will elicit the excess, excess or abundant secondary metabolite. So in this case, the balance of the plant is not maintained. When there is excess water, you see, there will be excess transpiration, there will be excess, all kind of biochemical reaction will be excess. That's not good for plant.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
স্যার এক্সেস বায়োকেমিক্যাল রিঅ্যাকশন আর কেন ভালো না?
Yes, you see, think about the human being. So when we take excess amount of food, for example, what happens when we eat excess rice? What happens? Any idea? Yes.
Sure, hi, sir.
Yes. Tell me. Any problem if we take excess rice or any kind of food in excess amount?
স্যার আমরা সবটা ডাইজেস্ট করতে পারি না, এরপর
Yes,
ফ্যাট জমে।
there's a problem of digestion, there's a problem of deposition of stored food, and you see the balance of different nutrients inside the body is not properly maintained and regulated. There will be imbalance. For example, if we take excess rice, then after digestion of rice, finally there will be production of glucose, carbohydrate converted to glucose at the end of digestion, and that glucose is absorbed at the end of our intestine and mixed with the blood, and the ratio of glucose to the insulin become imbalanced, and we call it diabetic patient. You understand? So we need carbohydrate, we need protein, we need fat, we need vitamin, we need mineral, we need water as well. And there is definite ratio among these 6 components, for instance, in case of human being. Okay, so if the ratio is up or down, then it is not good. The ratio should be fixed throughout the period of our life cycle. If the ratio is imbalanced, then that is not good. You understand?
Yes, sir.
It does not mean that you are discouraged to eat rice. We also need carbohydrate. We also need glucose, but the amount should be optimum, not more than the required amount, not less than the required amount. Okay. Similarly, the plants also need nutrient, but in a definite ratio. And the ratio among the nutrient and ratio between water and nutrients should be optimum in the plant. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So I discussed this slide, also this slide, and this one I also have discussed, and think about look at this slide. You can see that there are curling and twisting of leaves. You see here the pointer at the middle of the image.
Yes,
so there
sir.
are
Yes,
and
sir.
curling of leaves, and this is caused by the foliar nematode. We called Aphelencoides fusari. Okay, so this nematode attack the foliar above ground plant part, leaf, for example, or stem, and as a result, the leaf become curled, rolled, and twisted, stunted. So this is one of the symptoms of foliar nematode. And you can see that there is another nematode, Tylenculus semipenetrans. And this nematode, because of the attack of this nematode, the root become dirty. It looks like this one, hazy. You see here? So these are the symptoms of Tylenculus semipenetrans. And there are patches of pore growth in field. You can see here, and the plant in this row looks like healthy, looks like green, but over there you can see here, you can see there are some exposed soil. That is, the growth of this row are not as healthy as of the plant of this row. What happens in this area? The nematode Heterodera shakti present in the soil and infest the root. As a result, the growth and development of the plant is not as healthy as of this row where nematodes are not present. You understand? That is passes of infestation. Also over there, the Melodogynasi causes infestation in this row, for example. But over there, you can see here green. So there are actually passive distribution in the field of nematode. So all the nematodes are not distributed all over the field. In cluster form, nematodes remain in the field in aggregated form. The nematodes will gather together, for example, in one place. On the other, on the surrounding area, there will be no nematode. Nematodes like the aggregation of their population. As a result, there is passive distribution of symptoms in the field. So symptoms of the diseased plants are not distributed in the whole field, but in a particular region of the field. Maybe there are several passive infected area, but not the whole area. Then look at the reproduction of nematodes. Sorry, another symptoms you can see here, Ditylencas destructor. This causes serious damage on the potato. You can see here, after peeling, the potato looks like this one. Okay, this area has already been damaged and destroyed by the nematode Ditylencas destructor. And this is the dissected onion. You can see here. Another species of Ditylencas we call Ditylencas dipsaci. You can see here onion and garlic. Both onion and garlics are infected. You can see here the stem region are already damaged. And top infested. You can see here the top region. This is the top of ginger, for example, is infested, but the bottom looks like healthy, and it is caused by the fungus Rhadophilus civilis. And another symptoms you can see here, Melodogyn species on sweet potato. You can see here the development of crack on the infected sweet potato because of the attack of root knot nematode Melodogyn species. So look at the reproduction of nematode. There are mainly three types of nematode reproduction. Number one, we call amphimixis. And number two, we call hermaphroditism. And number three, parthenogenesis. What is amphimixis? Union of sperm of the male nematode with the egg of the female nematode. So this kind of reproduction we call sexual reproduction, or in another term we called amphimixis. Then the second one is hermaphroditism. That is functional male and female sex organs present on the same nematode, the same individual. Okay, we call this type of reproduction, hermaphroditism. And third one we call parthenogenesis, that is production of offspring from the egg. There is no involvement of sperm in this case. We call parthenogenesis. Okay, and to complete the life cycle of nematode, that is egg to egg, normally 3 to 4 weeks are required, but it varies from nematode to nematode. But in general, we call 1 month is required to complete the life cycle of nematode. Now I will talk about the life cycle or disease cycle of root knot nematode. In the next slide you can see here, the nematode lay egg, mind it. Nematode lays egg, and you can see here the first stage juvenile remain inside the egg. Okay, and the first molting occurs inside the egg. After first molting, second stage juvenile produced. What is molting? Any idea? What is molting of insect?
The
Full
shedding of
flopping.
outer covering.
Yes, in this case also same. That is, you can see here the nematode to shed off their old skin, and there will be internal development, and afterward the outer surface of the nematode just shed off and the new nematode come out. We call it, this process is known as molting. So second stage juvenile, these are actually vermiform or thread-like or worm-like. Okay, so hatching of egg and second stage juvenile emerge, which are infective and plant parasitic and penetrate the roots of plant. There are several stages of nematode. For example, first stage juvenile, second stage juvenile, third stage juvenile, fourth stage juvenile. Okay, or then adult nematode. So among these stages, which one is the infective? Which one attack the plant? So among these 4 stages, mind it, I can ask you in the exam in the form of quiz. Second stage juvenile is the infective stage of root knot nematode. Most of the nematode, including root knot nematode, but there are some exceptions. No? You will see later. Mind it, the second stage juvenile is the infective stage. That is, the first stage juvenile will not cause infection. The third stage juvenile will not cause infection. The fourth stage juvenile will not cause infection. What happens? Only the second stage juvenile is able to locate the host surface and to penetrate the host surface and afterward to cause infection in the host. Only the second stage juvenile. Okay. So after second molting, third stage juvenile comes out, and this third stage juvenile become larger by feeding, and shape become different. Okay, so the second stage juvenile was thread-like or vermiform, but the third stage juvenile, the shape become different. In the next slide, you will see how does the third stage juvenile look like. Okay, then third molting. After third molting, fourth stage juvenile comes out, and these fourth stage juveniles also become larger by feeding and shape become different. Then after fourth molting, matured nematode. And those fourth stage juvenile converted to mature nematode, and male nematodes come out of the root, mind it. So this second stage juvenile go inside the root or inside the plant, they attack the plant. So this molting is occurring inside the plant. Second molting, third molting, fourth molting. Okay, look at this. These are occurring inside the plant. So after fourth molting, mature nematode produced, male nematode. So nematode might be male or female, for example. If the nematodes are male, then they come outside of the root, outside the root. And if those are the female nematode, they remain inside the root, they become matured, and after maturation, they produce egg inside, and later stage they lay egg, and the egg sac contain 300 to 400 eggs. One nematode produce 300 to 400 eggs, in one life cycle, mind it. And those eggs are aggregated and remain inside a bag-like structure or sac-like structure we call egg sac. Look at this slide. You can see here, this is the single egg, and there is, you can see the cells or tissues become differentiated to form the first stage juvenile. You can see here, first stage juvenile remain inside the egg, okay? And after some days, this first stage juvenile goes for molting, and second stage juvenile occurs. You can see here, first molting. Second stage juvenile also remain inside the egg, primarily. But later on, this second stage juvenile comes out from this egg. They disrupt the egg sac. Okay? And second stage juvenile come out. You can see here. And this second stage juvenile look for the host. They can locate the host surface. And you can see here, just below the root tip, they penetrate this root surface and goes inside the root. Okay, the second stage juvenile. Okay, you can see here, second stage juvenile. So they locate the vascular bundle of the root. After that, they take water and nutrients from the vascular bundle. Water and nutrients from the vascular bundle of root of the plant. Okay, so they uptake food and they become larger in size because of feeding. You can see here, second stage juvenile in the later stage, they are uptaking water and nutrients over there. So second molting occur inside this root. This is the root area, and these are the two nematodes. This one is the female, for example. This one is the male. Okay. Second molt, after second molting, the male nematode look like this one. It becomes somewhat larger than the previous one, and female is also, you can see here, somewhat larger. You can see here there are two this structure. Those are the uterus. Okay. So third molting occur inside this root. After third molting, fourth stage juvenile produced inside the root, and the female look like this one, male look like this one. After fourth molting inside the root, you can see here this male nematode become thread-like or vermiform. You can see here their shape become changed. You understand? So become vermiform, and after that, this male nematode does not remain inside this root. They come outside the root and go to the soil, this male nematode. But the female one become larger in shape, become lemon shaped or round shaped somewhat, and the next production of egg will be continuing, and over the period, the nematode will lay egg. You can see here, just outside the root, in the egg sac. There are 300 to 400 eggs present in one egg sac. You can see here, this is the egg sac, and then this black-like structure, those are the egg. Okay, so let's say these are the egg, and in one point, the egg sac become disrupted, and egg comes outside the root, for example, or remain inside the root. Then again, this process continue, and first stage juvenile, second stage juvenile, then second stage juvenile attack the root, and they take or uptake food and nutrient from the root, and this process continues. And what happens, you can see here, primarily the shape of the root look like this one, thin, long, you can see a thin part. Secondarily, the shape of the root also changed. You can see here, it becomes kind of round shape. You can see the root become round shape. What it is? Any idea?
The lesion.
No, not lesion. You can see the name of the nematode, root knot nematode. What does it mean? The nematode form or causes knot in the root. What is knot? Knot means gall or tumor or cancer, right? I told you in the previous class. You remember?
Yes,
It is
sir.
a swelling.
Yes, swelling of tissue or formation of gall or knot or tumor. Okay, this is root tumor or root knot or root gall. What happens actually? So when the second stage juveniles goes inside the root, they select the vascular bundle area. Okay, so after that the nematode secretes some saliva inside the vascular bundle, and the saliva contain numerous enzyme, protein or effector we call. So among this numerous effector or enzyme or protein, some of the effector or enzyme will disrupt the cell cycle of the root, normal cell cycle. As a result, cell division become uncontrolled in the root. The normal cell division is from one cell there will be two cells, from two cells there will be four cells, isn't it? So this is the normal cell cycle, but because of the nematode saliva or effector, from one cell there might be 1,000 cells. The cell division become uncontrolled. So this process is known as hyperplasia, uncontrolled cell division. You remember? And later on, the size of the cell become very, very large, 300 to 400 times larger than the normal cell size. So there are actually two phenomena: uncontrolled cell division, and later on, very large cell size, 300 to 400 times larger than the normal cell. So this process we call hypertrophy, and uncontrolled cell division is called hyperplasia, right? So because of these two phenomena, the root tissue become swollen. Swelling of root tissue or root area occur. We called it root knot or root gall or root tumor. You understand? So when root gall or root tumor or root knot occurs in the root region, then this excessive cell and aberrant size cell will exert pressure in the root, right? As a result, the vascular vessel, xylem vessel and phloem vessel will be blocked. You got it? Like our blood vessel. So because of the presence of the clot in the heart region, for example, there will be no pumping of heart. The blood will not be circulated and there will be sudden heart attack and will die. So in this case, because of the excessive number of cell and because of the presence of very large size cell inside the root, there will be knot, and because of the knot, the vessel, xylem vessel, through which water is conducted, nutrient is conducted from root to the other plant part, and phloem vessel, food is conducted from green plant part to other plant part. So this vessel or tube will be blocked. As a result, there will be no conduction and transportation of water and nutrients in the plant. And what happens? If there is no water and nutrient transportation, the plant will be wilted because of lack of water. Although the knot is present in the below ground, for example, but we can see the symptom in the above ground. The leaf become yellow in color, for example, because of absence of nutrient, because of deficiency of nutrients. Okay. A plant will become weak because there will be no photosynthesis, no respiration, and at one stage, the plant will fall over to the ground. Plant will turn to yellow in color, then plant become growth and development is stopped, and finally, the plant will be wilted. Okay, if you uproot that plant, you can see that there are numerous root tumor or root gall or root not present in the root. Okay, you got it? So this is all about the life cycle or disease cycle of root knot nematode. There are several root knot nematode: Melodogyne incognita, Melodogyne javanica, Melodogyne graminicola. Okay, I can ask you draw label the life cycle of root knot nematode. Any question?
স্যার হাইপারট্রফিটা যদি আরেকবার একটু বলতেন।
Hypertrophy, that is abnormal enlargement of an individual cell. Abnormal enlargement of an individual cell. If the normal cell diameter is 1 micrometer, for example, then because of hypertrophy, the diameter of the cell will be 400 micrometer. That is, the cell become very large sized, very large size, giant shape. So this is the Google form for attendance. Please fill it up and send it to me. Okay. Any question? So this is all about nematology in level 2, semester 2.